Welcome back, Shalloners. Well, today, Khloe Kardashian has come out with this long, rambling statement about forgiveness and moving on from probably one of the most painful chapters in her life. Her baby daddy, Tristan Thompson, cheating on her for like the umpteen billionth time with her good friend, Jordyn Woods. And obviously, most of us are like more well-versed in this saga than we should be as people who like don't actually live it. But I'm gonna break down what Khloe said and like kind of go into what forgiveness actually is, plus why Jordyn's response tells me she doesn't deserve forgiveness. And more importantly, we're gonna learn. We are going to learn how to move on, how to forgive and forget in our own lives, because it truly is one of the most challenging things we'll ever have to face as human beings, but it is not impossible. I'll break it down. But first, just want to remind you that if you have a love question, you want to connect with me, go to shallonlester.com and click Get Help to get connected with you right away. Also follow me on Instagram at shallonxo, where I let you vote and weigh in the next video topics. Also, please consider donating to the GoFundMe I set up for a homeless mom of 3 living in a motel in Atlanta. I came across her plight on Instagram, and I just felt like called to help her. You know, like sometimes you just hear this celestial voice saying this is someone you're meant to help. And we have almost 250,000 Shalloners right now, and we can get this woman out of poverty. So we're trying to raise money to get her into permanent housing, put some down payments on an apartment, get some furniture, and like really transform her life. Also working with some charities and attacking things that way, but I know we can do it. Link is right down there. So you guys know Max and I broke up recently, and I probably watched the episodes with Khloe finding out about Tristan and Jordyn 500 times. Like I have them basically memorized. That's a low point. That's not something to brag about on the internet, but here we are. Because I felt so bad for her. And when you're in pain, you kind of want to be around other people in pain, even if they're your like TV best friends and they don't know you and they don't want to know you because you make videos about their life on the internet. But like, my heart just hurt for her. And I really did not enjoy Jordyn's response. Like, what pissed me off the most, because things happen, well, I'm not gonna say people get drunk because alcohol is not an excuse. If you wouldn't do something sober, you wouldn't do it drunk. These are facts. But like, Jordyn never apologized to Khloe. And that, I mean, not that we ever saw, not that they have ever updated this narrative and said that she has, and they had this sit down. And I've done a video, and it was kind of like a video that sort of made this channel take off, which was how to spot a liar when Jordyn Woods did that red table talk, because I watched that. I was like, she is not sorry. She's sorry that she got caught. She's sorry for the fallout in her life. But like, had this happened in a vacuum, I don't think she would have been sorry. That's just kind of the impression I got from her. And I think Khloe kind of got that impression too, because I mean, she's like, this whole time, like, she just can't come to me woman to woman and like have a conversation. So when Khloe came out with this statement saying that she forgives, I had a lot of feelings, because it's hard for me to get my mind around forgiving someone who hasn't apologized, who doesn't seem to be sorry. And so I'm like, okay, we need to investigate the concept of forgiveness, because it's one of these things. It's like, forgiveness, and like we should all just be doing it because it's Christ-like, or whatever religion you are, it all says to forgive. And yet I don't like forgiving people. I don't want to. And part of that is because I don't know how. But we're going to get into that in a minute. Let's talk about what Khloe said. So her statement is like long. We're going to do the TLDR. But there is no small degree of mania that seems to be coming through in this post. Like, there's a lot of caps, a lot of exclamation points. Forgiveness! I don't hold negative or hateful feelings towards anyone. All caps, exclamation. I mean that. Life is short, exclamation. We're all humans trying to figure out this thing called life. Who am I to condemn anyone else? Yes, I'm allowed to feel hurt and pain. It would be unnatural for me to pretend as if I don't. Personally, I don't want to be carrying around a hateful heart. I crave peace in my life. Me holding on to hate is only going to hurt me in the end. I have chosen not to pollute my heart and my energy by holding on to anything negative. She's just like, goes on. I am allowed to forgive. Forgiveness is a strength and not a weakness. I'm allowed to forgive people, but still not accept their behaviors. I'm also allowed to protect my space. I'm allowed to choose who I want in my life and who I don't. I'm also allowed to wish people well and sincerely mean it. Doesn't mean I have to be their best friend. I want nothing but beautiful blessings for everybody that has ever been in my life, regardless of what they have done or not done to me. I want people to be kinder in this world. We are all here to live and experience life. Therefore, we may make mistakes along the way, and if we're lucky, we'll grow from every mistake we make. If we are blessed enough, we get to grow to be incredibly kind and beautiful people. I wish that for everybody in the world. Peace, happiness, love, blah, 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 blessings. I feel like she went directly from her therapist's office to Instagram. Like, this is all such like therapy. Because like I said, I started doing some research on forgiveness and what psychologists have to say and papers that have been published in studies. And it's like this shit verbatim. Like, this is straight from psychology.com, copy and paste. I potch out talking to you guys. So on one hand, I hear a lot of wokeness from Khloe. On the other, I'm still so mad for her. I'm mad for her. But that's the thing. This is the thing with forgiveness. She's right. This doesn't get her anywhere. Like, holding on to this hate really does only hurt her in the end, because that means you are continuing to give someone power over your life. And I know what you're saying. Well, so forgiveness means that what they do is okay. So I'm just like, that's okay. I forgive you. And doctors and therapists will be like, no, that's not what it means. Isn't it? Because it seems like verbatim dictionary definition, that actually is what it means. And that's where we all run into trouble with forgiveness. Because like, it's not fine you fucked my boyfriend. It's not fine you took that promotion away from me. It's not fine you told everybody my business. And I'm not going to say, I forgive you, because I don't want you to interpret that it is fine. And I don't want to tell myself that narrative. That, you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I don't want to have a hateful heart. You put the hate in my heart. You put it there. My heart is not the hateful thing. You're the hateful thing in my life. And now I have to deal with your splash zone of bullshit. And now it's on me to forgive? Have you ever read the book Anna Karenina? Probably not, because it's like this big and depressing AF, but I love it. And if you haven't, let's talk about the movie. There's a scene in the Keira Knightley version of the movie, probably all of them because it's in the book, where she's trying to mend the rift between her brother and his wife, who he cheated on. So she's like swooping in trying to save the day, and she's talking to the wife who's crying. She's like, he wants to move on, but it's you who can't forgive, and so you must both be wretched. And the wife's like, but I didn't do anything. And Anna is like, yeah, but you're the one making this still a thing. Like, you're the one continuing to carry the situation into the present. And the wife's like, ah. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Why is it on her to fix what he broke? Why do we have to fix what other people broke to heal ourselves? Because what do we say? You can either be right or you can be happy. And ideally, those are one and the same, right? One and the same. But more often than not, in this life, when we're dealing with complicated relationships, from work to friendship to lovers, it's not always that way. So when we stay attached to something that is so hurtful, we just keep worshiping the problem. That's what we're doing. And we are giving that person power over our lives. So the first step in understanding forgiveness is to reframe what it is. Forgiveness is neutrality. That's what we're going to say from now on. We have got to erase the definition that forgiveness is like, I ship it, like, it's okay, we're best friends, everything's fine. Everything is not the fuck fine. No, it isn't. And that's kind of what Khloe was saying in here. Like, I don't have to like condemn someone, but I also don't have to pretend like I'm fine with this. I don't have to like be okay with their behaviors or be their best friend. I release you. Forgiveness is release. But she goes on. She's not done here. Okay. She posted another long thing. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of back and forth with people asking why I don't keep that same energy with Jordyn. That message is for Jordyn. It's for anyone else who has ever hurt me. For some reason, people want to assume that I'm only talking about Tristan. This message applies to all parties involved in situations that have ever hurt me. Men, friends, family, work associates, anyone who played a role in my pain. I have moved on, found forgiveness, and wish you only happiness and joy. My life won't be consumed with hate. I've chosen to occupy my life with positivity. Every day I choose to find the good in my day. To choose this daily doesn't mean I don't have bad days, but my good days are so much better than my bad ones. We're all human and make mistakes, myself included. Hate is heavy and I'm tired of carrying that weight around. Now, let's break this down a little bit more because then we're going to get into Jordyn. Hate is heavy. Hate is heavy. Hate is heavy. Isn't this the truth? My New Year's resolution, one of them, is to budget my energy as smartly as I budget my money, which historically has not been very smart on either count. But energy is one of these things we assume is an infinite resource. We have an infinite amount of energy. And a lot of people take that attitude towards money. Well, if I can't afford it, I'll just put it on my credit card. I'll just borrow from Peter to pay Paul. I'll go into my savings account. That isn't infinite money. That is debt. And we understand that with money, that's debt. Energy has debt as well, right? When I'm out of energy, what do? I reach for Diet Coke, a coffee, Adderall, line of blow, whatever people do, you know? But that is debt. You are in a deficit and you aren't creating more actual energy. You're going into a debt. So what does this have to do with forgiveness? Hate is heavy, and hate is an expenditure of your energy. The way money is an expenditure. If you had to physically pay someone you hated $20 every time you thought about them, you'd get the message real quick that this shit isn't worth it. If you had, it's like, well, I can't go to Miami for that bachelorette weekend. I have to stay home and hate this girl. You'd be like, I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna move some things around. But we don't think of emotion like that. We think of emotion as just bottomless. And that traps us in an emotion because getting out of it also seems bottomless. How am I gonna claw myself out of this hole of misery to a better place? The way we do that is incrementally. People think forgiveness is like this wave that washes over you. I'm like baptized in forgiveness. No, you're not. Forgiveness and moving out of a bad place is like moving out of any other bad place in your life. Big decisions are made up of very small decisions. Getting your college degree doesn't happen in a day or even a year. It's a bunch of really small decisions. Losing weight. You don't do one CrossFit class and you're like, fixed. One healthy kale salad. Nope. You understand in those terms that it's incremental and it's gradual. And it is constant vigilance. But you're already giving vigilance, right? But you're giving it in the wrong direction. That vigilance is going towards that expenditure. You're spending, you're hemorrhaging, right? If you can give vigilance in a positive way, then you can begin to claw your way out. So how do we do that? How do we do that? You stop taking the bait. Stop leaving open gaps in your emotion, in your heart, in your schedule, in your social media to let that negative energy come back in. And I kind of hate terms like positivity, negativity. They're so like, what do they mean? Empowerment. Like, what are you talking about? What do these words like actually mean? Well, for me, negativity, it's like life really is so simple if you break it down into what makes me happy and what makes me sad. What am I expending energy on in a positive way? Seeing my friends, working out. And what am I expending energy on in a negative way? Being hateful, stalking, talking shit about someone. When you break down how this person affects you, how the situation affects you, you can quantify it in micro behaviors. You can, right? You bring it up at brunch. You go on her Instagram page. You backlike things and then take them away. Like, you do things. You do things. And you got to stop doing those things, right? Because what is the goal? Neutrality. So this is my experience with forgiveness. And to the surprise of almost no one, I don't have a lot of experience with forgiveness because I don't like to forgive and I sure as fuck never forget. But that's wisdom. You can let go, but you don't forget. Because this is also the bad thing about forgiveness is we think forgiveness means we're opening ourselves up to be hurt again. But what Chloe said was very wise. It doesn't mean I have to be your best friend. I release you. Release means you go your own way. So I had a best friend, throughout high school and college and after college. Like, we were like sisters. Like, guys would be like, are you guys gay for each other? Like, we were like inseparable. She was there for every one of my ridiculous adolescent heartbreaks, and there were a million. And I was there for hers. She had far fewer because she was the hot girl in high school. Tall, thin, beautiful, big, perfect boobs, smart, Like, just, she was everything. She was everything. And I was like, you know, like I was like a dork machine. But like, we loved each other. And she was there for my first love, like the boy that I lost my virginity to, and how it crashed and burned because the next day I found out he slept with our other friend. Great. And like this saga went on like all through college. And like, then I finally cut him off, and he and I ended up getting back together when I was like 25 or 26. He came out to New York to visit, and he's like, he lived in LA, and so did she. And I would ask her here and there, I was like, have you seen him? Like, do you keep tabs on him? And she's like, yeah, like I saw him at a party, you know, whatever. Like, he's still an idiot. And I was like, yeah, I figured. And he's like, I need to tell you something. I slept with her. I was like, I'm sorry, I just hallucinated. I thought you told me you slept with my best friend. What? He's like, yeah, we went out, we got drunk, blah, 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 happened. And I was like I almost blacked out. And you know what I said? I just hope you treat her right. If you guys want to be together, I don't know why you had to come to New York to fucking tell me this, but like, just treat her right and be good to her. She's a wonderful person. That's how big-hearted I was. And he's like, I don't want to be with her. I want to be with you. That's why I'm telling you this. I want us to start fresh. In hindsight, he was telling me that because he was getting off on the consequence of that, which is the fallout of our friendship, me and her. And oh, there was a fallout. I emailed her. I was like, did you sleep with Jack? Did you sleep with Jack? And that bitch did not apologize. She wrote back, I will always love you. Like something. It was like 2 sentences, but there was nowhere in there that said, I am so sorry. Because after my initial big-hearted response of like, I want you to be happy, then the actual Shallon kicked in. I was like, no. Of all the guys in Los Angeles, California, and I assure you this man is not irresistible. Ugh. Dark days. Of all the men, you had to have him? You had to have my first love? Really? Her behaviors had more to do with me and sticking it to me than they did with him. Like I said, not irresistible. Like, I think it was her wanting to recapture like the high school glory, because our other friends were like, because I kept saying, I was like, she could have anyone she wants. And they're like, no, she can't. Like, those days are past. And maybe that's why she had to sleep with someone from those glory days. Like, that was her time machine. And I was so twisted about it for so long. And then, because I was like, how can I be friends with you again if you're not even sorry? Like, if you're not even sorry, because look, if people don't say I am sorry, they're not. They're not. Jordyn didn't say she was sorry. She's not. But we'll get to Jordyn in a minute because her response is incredibly telling. So like, fast forward a few years, I was getting engaged and my mom was like, I think you really need to make peace with her. And I was like, and that's when it dawned on me. I was like, Mom, I don't have to make, I am at peace. I don't feel hate towards her. I feel neutral. Like, good for her. I hope she lives her life and gets the things she wants, but I don't want her in my orbit. I don't need to open up those doors. There is nothing for me there. There's nothing for me there. And that, since then, is how I define forgiveness. Neutrality, right? And it's hard because you want to take the bait and stick it to people who hurt you, but that really doesn't get us anywhere. And so I'm going to break down one of the main ways to cultivate forgiveness after we talk to Jordyn. No, you know what? Let's do it now. Because once I get on the Jordyn train, I'm not going to want to say anything happy again. So psychologists agree that one of the main ways to get over someone hurting you and to cultivate forgiveness is empathy. Now, I know when you are hurt and wounded and wronged and righteously angry, the last fucking thing you want to do is put yourself in some other's shoes. The shoes of the person who put you in this terrible state. I get it. But like we said, right versus happy. It gives you nothing to hold on to it. I mean, hold on to the lessons that you've learned from this and let everything else go. With schoolwork, do you keep like your 3rd grade book report, like your primer where you learned how to write your letters? No, you let it go. You keep the lessons and you let it go. You're not a hoarder. Don't be an emotional hoarder either, because it's going to have the same effect that hoarding things are. You're going to get boxed in. Anger is a self-limiting feeling. It really boxes us in. It prevents us from tapping into new levels. It keeps us stuck. We're worshiping the problem when we're angry, right? And you gotta feel angry, you gotta work through it. But empathy, they say, is the #1 way to cultivate forgiveness. So it's easier to forgive someone if the circumstances are external. Like, well, he shot my brother because he grew up in a really violent household and at his core, he's not a bad person. He's a product of his environment. Or she missed my birthday party, not because she didn't want to be there, but because traffic was late and she budgeted her time poorly, but blah, blah, blah. So try to step into their world and identify with any sort of aspect of their behavior that you can identify with. And that's going to help just ease those knots. Because what you want, right, is to untie those knots and let them drift away. You don't have to keep someone in your life. Now let's talk about Jordyn. This bitch. Just after Khloe posted this whole thing, positivity, I release everyone, happy, happy, happy. Jordyn posts this, like reposts a quote. Someone somewhere is still discussing the old you because they don't have access to the new you. And then she's like, facts. Jordyn, you're a fucking child. You're a child. Really? Like, and some people are like, oh, it doesn't have anything to do like with Khloe. Like, okay. And so Jordyn tweeted this. Not every quote, her voice, she's such a Valley girl, I can't handle it. Not every quote is posted is a sub or a clapback, and not everything posted is directed towards one person in general. I deal with a lot of different shit daily. It's all love, only positive vibrations. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's just real coincidental that after Khloe posts that, that's the quote you have to come up with. Really? Okay, kind of seems like you could have gone in a different direction. Kind of seems like you could have. Maybe just like held that off for a few days, a few weeks. Maybe just sent it to your friends if you have any left and be like, haha, isn't this true? Look at this true meme. There's nothing worse to me than someone who does something for attention, then they get the attention and they panic and they blame everyone else for it. And to me, that's Jordyn's whole vibe. Like, that's her whole thing with Tristan. It's like you were at a house party playing grab ass with your friend's baby daddy. What did you think was gonna happen? And when she tried to apologize or not non-apologize, when she went on the Red Table Talk, it was more of this shit. It's like, it was the distancing. And we talked about this in Justin Timberlake video yesterday. It's like, people who are not sorry and who aren't learning, they try to distance themselves from their decisions and their actions and the consequence and the fallout. It's everyone else's problem. Everyone else is just misinterpreting things inappropriately. You know what she could have said? I picked a bad day to post that. I'm so sorry. That wasn't about Khloe. Like, I really appreciate her sentiment. She is a strong woman and I'm lucky to have someone like that in my orbit and feeling that towards me. That's what she could have posted. Not everything is a clapback. Khloe's over her. I'm over her. I'm over her. So childish and so immature. So, but this is a lesson for all of us on the other side when we wrong people. Like, if someone sticks out some sort of olive branch, take it. Or don't and keep your mouth shut because you're just gonna look like a clown and a fool. And I think that's how Jordyn looks. Like, man. So this has been quite the odyssey. I want to know your definition of forgiveness. What situations have you gone through that you have really had to dig deep and forgive? And like, look, if forgiveness means getting back together with someone or resuming that friendship, great, like to each their own. But if it doesn't, tell me what forgiveness does mean to you. For me, it's neutrality. If I can't have revenge, which is what this necklace says, I will aim for neutrality and pure blissful distance. For more, click like and subscribe. And like I said, if you have a question, find me on shallonlester.com and follow me at ShallonXO on Instagram. And please consider donating to the GoFundMe. $5 adds up, makes such a big difference. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.